Hello, Ma. Good morning, Ma.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very fine, Ma. Uh, we are still waiting. I think the next 10 minutes, the meeting will start accepting persons to join in on the meeting. So for now, I can see your screen is perfect. We can see you very clearly, Ma.
Okay.
Yes, Ma. The voice is also good.
Okay. Like this is okay, right?
This is perfect. It is. It is.
Okay.
It is, Ma.
Okay.
All right, Ma.
Okay. I'm trying to still make it. Okay.
On YouTube. Okay, the good. My mother will. What I just can say. Thank you. Nah, too many work in my hand now. Just don't have that. The reason I have the program. Work we that my or that let me go for up. I find money. Tell me say are they available to work? After they say yes, they can't give me work now. Okay, let me make a comment to this one. Hello, Ma. We have you very set. Your face, the voice, the audio is perfect for the call. So shortly, it will the meeting will start very soon by 10. The participants and some of the contributors like Dr. Noja. Sometimes we have Professor Chijoke Honora on the call. Sometimes we have Dr. Aina, Dr. Ayo Adebumi, and other persons. So I think the moderator is on the call now. Let me add him and some other artists as well. I don't. Okay, no need to do her this thing now. quality of this call. This way we don't need interrupted internet. Because and there's already like a few seconds lag, so
Don't we reach 10
I will switch. We don't need any break in transmission at all. Copy this link. Here. Share. This link. Send it to yourself. Then post it on all the platforms just with the picture. You understand? Once the meeting starts, I have other things I need to manage, so I will be very busy. And then also, today of all the days, no day.
Was he here before you started this meeting?
What?
Was he here before
Who?
you started?
No, I was supposed to come here.
You
Is that?
already started the meeting before you came.
Yes, I've started the meeting up to 10 minutes. Just cut.
Why do you think more
No, it's still on. It's still on. We are still live because it seems like my device is connected. Okay, no. Is that okay, Sha? We don't really start jam, so we don't start jam. Don't listen to start now. What you do is just share that email, the thing, and then prepare the slide. You get? You heard? Which kind of Pepsi did you drink this morning? It's doing you somehow. We have people on the call already, people that are already watching. For no day.
After I know go do today and tomorrow.
You go do today.
Feel today.
What's going on? What's going on? This thing really disconnected me. Nah, don't mess this thing, don't mess my work up. Nah, of all the days where you go off, it can't be today. Huh?
Why you no go change am?
just never tell when come now.
For see this meeting.
For still be this one, though. I don't know again. Okay, myself. I've actually said the window this thing should be sharing. It should not be sharing another window. You're supposed to share only one particular window. Hold on. Hello, good morning everyone. It's 10:01. The meeting will start in about 4 to 5 minutes. Let's see if we can get more persons to join and also have the moderator present. Thank you and welcome. Moderator, where are you? Please open that YouTube. Just go to that particular Chrome and then do restore restore previous whatever was sessions. You understand? Listen, I know listen to the today now. No way I call in the morning. They answer me somehow.
Why you not saying?
I
You
know.
come in the wrong side.
I know. Still enter better motor come office. So. No wonder. They no gree carry you for AC. No wonder.
She goes to work with the baby. She went to school.
Sister is a copper.
Huh?
He a medical copper. Okay.
Why you come outside? This match. This match.
People are passing out
Match.
next week. So after this,
That message, copy it. We need to push it on that or all the groups, like bombard it on all of them. I'm not leaving you alone. I'm not. Do it, please. Don't go today, I beg, because I know how you go beat them when they come here. You know who I'm talking about, so. Calls have started coming in. Let it not be this boss, I beg. Oba, no be you. Ogayo. Ogayo's calling. The link is asking for an address. Hello, good morning, sir. Yes, sir. On YouTube? Oh no, it's on already. We have persons on it already. And we're also live on YouTube as I speak, yes. So just if you try to join again, I will accept. I'm already there. Yes, sir. Alright, sir. Okay, sir. Mr. Moderator. Hello. Oh no, don't use it. I want to lift my voice. My voice is supposed to be coming out. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I checked. I went out to check something. I'm back. David, good morning. Yeah, good morning. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine by me. Mm. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, David. You're all welcome to another session of our own ongoing boot camp 2026. Just before we start or introduce our facilitator for today, it is important that we do a recap of yesterday's presentation by Clarence Okide. Starting from Friday, she made presentations, interesting presentations, on a topic that resonates very well with the young people, and she taught the participants about how to utilize the social media, to enhance their practice. In the title of her presentations were social media strategies and building online presence. That was yesterday. That was 2 days ago. Yesterday she did something on social media content planning and social media marketing strategy. We concluded her presentations yesterday, and it was well received, and the participants participated, actively. And today we're also going to have another presentation by also a female artist, and the person we are having today is well known in the art circles in Nigeria. So I will start by reading her bio, and after that we will expect her to do justice to the topic. Ngozi Omeje is one of Africa's finest ceramic installation artists. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine and applied art in 2005 and a master's degree in ceramics in 2009 from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Her acclaimed installation works using globular clay units to the topic. Ngozi Omeje is one of Africa's finest ceramic installation artists. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine and applied art in 2005 and a master's degree in ceramics in 2009 from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Her acclaimed installation works, I think they're using globular clay units to the topic. Hello, Ngozi Omeje is one of Africa's finest ceramic installation artists. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine and applied art in 2000. What's going on here? 2005 in 2009 from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Here. Her acclaimed installation works, I think they're using globular clay units to the topic. Hello, Ngozi Omeje is one of Africa's finest ceramic installation artists. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine and applied art.
Hello. And a question, please. We have to ask everybody to put off their microphone so that we can stop hearing echoes. We're hearing echo, including our guest lecturer. Please put off your mic so that we can hear from the person speaking. Thank you.
Okay, I go back to where I started before that interruptions. Ngozi Omeje is one of Africa's finest ceramic installation artists. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine and applied art in 2005 and a master's degree in ceramics in 2009 from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Her acclaimed installation works using globular clay units, rings, leaves, and repurposed plastic flip-flops suspended on hundreds of nylon threads were shown at the Korea Ceramics Biennale and Cheongju Craft Biennale in South Korea in 2009. The Dakar Biennale in Senegal, the first Central China Ceramics Biennale in China, and at the inaugural Artex Lagos Art Fair in 2016. She has taken part in several international and local exhibitions, including the Connecting Deep 10th anniversary exhibition of CCA, that is Center for Contemporary Arts Lagos, in 2018. SMO Contemporary Art exhibited Omeje's work at the Saatchi Start Art Fair in London in 2018, and at the Standing Out All-Female Artists Group exhibition at the Wick Baker in 2017. She took part in an Artist in Residence program at the Sevshun Art Center in Seattle, United States of America, where her Think Tea, Think Cup installation became a prominent piece in their permanent collection. She has won multiple awards, including overall winner of Life in My City Art Competition in Enugu 2014 and Outstanding Concept at the National Art Competition in Lagos in 2015, and Most Creative Potter from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, 2005. Omeje teaches ceramic art at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Let us welcome our facilitator for today's program, Ngozi Omeje.
Thank you.
Before you
Thank
speak,
you.
sister, I also needed to add this introduction of Ngozi Omeje. Ngozi Omeje is LIMCAF flagship, LIMCAF #1 ambassador. And I needed to say this because we watched Ngozi Omeje grew, from LIMCAF. First participation, second participation, second position, first position. And what was very significant about that was she won that first position. She was pregnant, and then with other children, which made it significant for us to say that the women can also make it too. And we have seen her grow from winning LIMCAF to becoming a renowned international figure. In 2022, we were at Dakar, that is LIMCAF sponsored, El Sui sponsored, and then we suddenly ran into Ngozi Omeje's imposing, outstanding installation. And then we were so excited. I mean, it is, this is LIMCAF, this is our own, I'm so glad that today we'll be listening to Ngozi Omeje. Let's find out from her how she grew from that grassroots to becoming international. I hope we enjoy this lecture. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So she'll be presenting on she'll be presenting on client communication. That's for the first segment. Then after that, I think it's broken into 2 segments. Then we'll listen to the next one. Madam Facilitator, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. And moving from where I started to this point hadn't been jollof rice. So it has to do with a lot of perseverance and decision, like deciding that you have to practice against all odds. So I'll start my lecture with the essential strategies to enhance communication skills. So in these lectures series, we are going to look at the key points that will help one as an artist to succeed making use of these communication skills. And number 1 is ensuring clarity and conciseness. Ensuring clarity and conciseness means you have to define your goal and your audience. And that's about what you set out to do and what you want to convey and why. Aiming to convey messages simple, straightforward, and then avoiding complex terms. So to clarify and then put more details in these bullet points is like now as an artist, you already know your creative drive. So now how do you convey it to your audience and aiming to your clients? How do you convey this message? Because most collectors, they have to consider the message and see, are they connected to it? Because for one, for a collector to buy a piece of work, he has to connect to your message. Is it moving? Is it emotionally appealing? And then before even considering buying it. So, and before you can achieve that, you have to consider your creative space and opportunities, and then the ingredients. That's the storyline, and then why do you want to focus on this storyline? And because you have already chosen a target audience or people that you'll be addressing, or the issue that you're addressing, and then why do you want to convey it? Those are the storylines. And then aiming to convey the messages simple and straightforward without compounding terms or confusing your audience. So that's about the ensuring clarity and conciseness of your aim, of your goal, and then the target audience or what you want to discuss using your creative tools. So we'll go to the next slide. So for you to communicate effectively, you have to also give room for your clients or a potential collector to speak, and then you'll be able to understand their through active listening. You'll be able to understand through, and then also listen to body language when they are in tune to what you're expressing or they are not. And then when you're engaging actively, you'll be able to give room for them to communicate and tell you or express themselves, whether direct or indirectly. And then you'll be able to know whether what you are working on or your storyline actually will interest them, because trying to convince them or otherwise when they are not in parallel understanding of your goal is like pulling someone when the person actually wants to leave. But helping through your goal, helping your client to decide by just expressively stating your mission and then your what you want to achieve, paraphrasing for clarification when they have already made their intention known to you, and then choosing on, and then the third one would be choosing the right communication channel. So if you choose this, assuming that you choose social media as a platform to communicate your creative offering, so you have to, or at some point when a client is attracted to your piece or your working style, you have to redirect them to your email, and through that you can always know when a client or a possible buyer is really interested and not just combing. So you get to discuss more and have more concrete ground to express yourself if you redirect the discussion from away from the social media platform to your email. And it has to do with choosing the right communication channel, approaching with authenticity, setting a positive tone for interaction. Positive tone for interaction means that you're not desperate, that's the way I want to say it, but you want to exchange. You have something or you are sharing. So, and when is embedded in you, and then and the goal is clear, and you are setting this positive tone for interaction, it helps more to convince and even show how confident you are in your creative endeavor. So we move on to the next slide. Setting the frequency of communication. So this, how to set this frequency depends on how you have been able to carry out choosing the right communication, and then how often you share, engaging telling your story and engaging clients emotionally. So, and emotionally, it's not necessarily being overwhelmed with your experiences, but trying to connect with your client in your creative ideology. Why do you want to do this? How clear? And then when you are clear with your mission, and then you have passion about this, they are already, if they are connected to your story, the emotion is already built in there, and they'll find it difficult to pull away at some point because they are already part of your story, and they will tell the story and another person continue with the story. So, and when you have done that, engaging your client emotionally, then you have to regularly update your client based on sharing or taking a period that you're going to share online. Most likely, the best is not to share too frequently that it becomes so readily available. Maybe once a month or every three weeks. And you can even choose, depending on your style, to give a gap of 2 months to share, but let it be that at every 2 months they will see something. So in time they'll know that every 2 months they'll get updates from this, and they know that you are in, you're not going to stop practicing anytime because they have already gotten used to this. And so through that, you're building confidence in your progress. And then you try so much so not to overshare or bring mundane things that will take away their interest. But if it's going to add to your practice, assuming the experience or the processes is something that is very engaging, that people will really like to know how you've been able to achieve the artwork, or maybe on request, then you can just give highlights of your processes, as in sharing while you're sharing updates. Highlighting, the nice point, highlighting the uniqueness. Because there's so many artists in the world practicing, trying to sell, and highlighting your uniqueness. What made your work different from the other based on technique, materials, or your storyline is an added advantage. So when you point out this technique, especially like mine, I would look at how long it takes for me to put the string in. That the story doesn't start from the suspension. It went long way back when you started making the clay, passing through the fire, and then relating it to your enduring capacity, like resilience. So pointing out those uniqueness about your creativity is what make the client to continue to look at your work and want to buy it, because that's the tangible representation of your story, what you have made. So I go to the next slide. So to create visual experience, sharing processes, photo to visually convey your artistic journey and evolution. As I have said before, you at some point would love to share the creative processes, and that's a way of convincing. Like in the present time that we have AI, generated AI, that one. But with you sharing these creative processes, it helps to authenticate your work. And then you also help through that, you try to show that you have a niche that you're displaying, that you're trying to communicate through one technique or the other. And then how you have evolved over the years, and what you are pursuing, and what you intend to achieve and continue to. So that's all about sharing your processes visually, and then also discussing potential placements with your clients. I found out recently that each time that you readily agree with a prospect, they tend to think that maybe you are too available or something like that. And most time it doesn't hold true. So, but through this engagement, discussing before even naming your price, how how they would want to, why they would want it, and then how they would want it to fit their space and all that. And it creates this connection, this uh, a social conversation that goes a long way to make the clients to know that you are not into that you're not so desperate about just selling the work, or you're hungry or something like that. But you have this social conversation, and then asking the clients about the where they want to place the work, and then even discussing a better on placement options with your clients, and then before going down to, okay, this is the price. And it has a lot. It increases your value as well. So I move to the next point: building effective feedback loop, using it constructively to improve your art, and encouraging open and honest feedback from your client, the previous and then even the future prospects. So you create an opportunity for people to share with you what they think, even if it's not going to change your direction, but you learn from that feedback. That's why it's very necessary to create that feedback loop. So I'll go to the next slide. Engage through interaction. Encourage clients to engage with your art. Occasionally, you can just ask someone, or even during the exhibition, what do you think about this piece? And I know the person will ask you back, what do you want to pass along? What's the message? And you go concisely on the message. You don't have to bring up a previous story that does not align with that piece of work. Brief, straight, and clear, so that the person can understand your goal, why you're making it, and then be able to decide, because from that connection, you'll be able to decide faster to acquire the piece. So, and again, engaging in live demonstration of your creative processes. You could arrange a workshop and invite audience and then engage with them, or even foster a connection with them by asking them to participate in the workshop and creating something. People have a way of connecting with what they made, and they carry on with that story about I did that one and did this one. I was able to, like the children workshop that I once participated in, and their mothers were so happy that they painted with alongside their daughters or sons, something like that. It goes deeper. It's like connecting deeper than just the surface. That's a tactile connection with the audience. It's really great. Like during my exhibition in CCA, it was a participatory piece with the audience where they have to cut down one of the elephants. Some couldn't cut it down because they were attached to the work. They didn't want to see it cut down. But the cutting down is still part of the work itself, but they still could not go through that, maybe because of the emotional attachment. But other kind of work like painting is really great for you to connect with your audience and clients if they participate in the creation of that piece. And then the next point, looking at the addressing the client concerns. I think thinking that that it's all going to be smooth sail is being naive, because we are human, so it's good to anticipate and address reservation. And when you anticipate beforehand, then it will give you the opportunity to understand their feeling and then be able to address whatever that is the issue. And then providing information about the material, maintenance, and care instruction also helps to put them at ease when they are maybe not very sure about the durability or the material of the art piece. So you addressing that, giving them the information beforehand, helps them to, okay, either accept or not. So that's why it's good to address it beforehand. So I move to the next slide. So adhering to communication etiquette. What communication to maintaining professional tone. Yeah, I was going through something and I saw where someone is saying that helping to decide, helping a client or potential prospect to decide is different from convincing. Convincing means that you're selling something that they don't actually need. But when you're helping them to decide, you have already told your mission statement, your goal, what you want, and are giving them options with about placements and all that. And you give them room to decide on their own without trying to force it or make it or even getting angry or exhibiting sadness that they are not buying, or when you notice disinterest and then you think that, oh, it's not a good professional tone or something, or appearance or professional appearance. So maintaining that is really very good, and it will increase your value. Even if that particular prospect did not buy, it can recommend someone that your story aligns with. And from that same place, you can get a commission. So basic etiquette enhances the quality of interaction, even if it's not immediate in the future. No pressure, allow the client to make decisions on their own pace. And as long as you have given them a clear ideology, mission statement of what you are making in, and again, also show that you're not pressured, and then that the work has value on its own, and as the days are gone by, the value keep increasing, and you create this scarcity mindset so it has a way of making them to decide quickly before someone else picks it, because you have created that limited number of your works and not overflow the market with your works. I think we are done here.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. You finished a bit earlier than our so that means we have more time for the participants to to tap from your wealth of knowledge.
Yes, that's
So
why I did it that way. So we have
more time.
opportunity to opportunity to communicate and then answer questions and also learn from each other. We are all artists.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. So at this point, would encourage our participants always willing and attentive to each of the each of the presentations we've had so far. So and this is, I believe they've been taking notes and bringing the questions in their minds. So I will give them the opportunity to ask their questions and maybe make comments if that's what they want to do. So the floor is now open for the participants to ask questions. Pearl Adebisi.
Good morning, ma. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for the wonderful lecture, ma.
Thank you.
From point 10, you mentioned that we should not convince clients, but we want to help them to decide when it comes to our work. Then you also mentioned that we want to create this scarcity mindset. So my question is, how can we create the scarcity mindset? Is it by limiting the work we produce, or maybe when we are exhibiting, instead of putting 4 works, 5 works for an exhibition, we should go with 2. So I'm not clear on that scarcity mindset.
Okay. The great masters, they did not stop to produce work at some point, but they only show very few of their pieces. So the market creates the tune of your display, especially when it comes to exhibition. If it's a solo exhibition, some solo exhibition you have been to, and it will just be one piece of work. Does it mean that the artist has just one piece of work? Or some artists that it will take them like 3 years to produce a piece. So when they create this knowledge that it takes long to get something very authentic, before you finish the production, people are already vying to buy the work. But when your pieces are always in the market, there are plenty. It becomes like industrial made, like mass-produced pieces. And then at some point, you as an artist get frustrated that you have so many pieces and you just sold like 1 or 2 in a year. I feel like that sometimes. So, and then you at some point you might go for an exhibition and then you just decide not to sell. Like, it's not for sale. And they will be asking you why, because it's a psychological thing. People crave what they can't get. And when it's there, they don't value it. But when they now found out that this thing, I want to buy it by all means, but the artists refuse, the value continues to increase. But when you just give it out like that, most time the value drops. So that's what I say about scarcity. And then, or being able to say no sometimes, that you're not selling, or okay, you made 10 and you only showed 2 and leave the other ones in storage. And just give us that, give them the mindset that is not for everyone.
Thank you very much, ma. So that means when it comes to issue of posting on social media, we should not post all our works, right?
It's not about posting all your works. It's not even good to post all your works at a time. But if it's a body of work, you can post them. But then the next posting will take like another 1 month, or if you choose to be producing, that's what I mentioned, that 2 months, and then you post. You have not gone out of their mind. You are there, but you are not regularly making them to feel that they are saturated with your information, something like that.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ma.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Just to let us know that we've been joined by 2 faculties. We've had the art director, Ayo Adewumi, all along. But I just noticed that Professor Chijoke Onwara has joined us, and Dr. Jacob Onoja is also in the house. So we have to welcome them. And we'll be expecting to hear from them with time. So we will continue with the questions from the participants. I can see Bilkisu Shuaibu. Bilkisu, you can ask your question or make your comments.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ma, for the lecture. I learned a lot. However, there is a part that I'm a bit confused about. On the part where you talked about telling your art story and updating the progress of your work. But then there's a point you made about oversharing. And at that part, I want to know exactly to what extent is it considered oversharing? Because I learned it is important to share your art story because it's part of the things that moves your potential clients and collectors. But at what point is it considered oversharing exactly? That's
Okay, looking at that, I want to use this as an example. Okay, being a woman, I've been inspired a lot about my relationship with my children, or how I've been trying to succeed, or the drag and pull. I mean, when I say drag and pull, as in different responsibilities that needed my attention at the same time and all that. And then sometimes I felt losing my head. So as I'm talking already, listening to me, I'm oversharing because I said that I'm losing my head, even if it's authentic. But then before I finish rambling, the person is already losing interest because I continue on and on. But if there's a way I could narrow it down and still convey the same message without going into too much details that will make the person to even lose interest or even forget where you started. That's what I mean by oversharing.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Okay. Can I make a comment myself?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Well, for me, I think it is a basic law that when you make yourself too available, it's you know, people, like if you visit, even your friend, if you continue visiting endlessly, after some time you might discover that even his family, as you're coming, they'll be making comments like, he's coming again, he's coming again. Like he doesn't have something to you know, he's always all, don't he, is he not doing something, you know? So you have, is something that is psychological. Then something on oversharing. I once curated an exhibition, and then the artist kept talking about how you know, the place where he lived, that you know, they go to the toilet in the bush, and you know, all those kind of stories. I consider that a kind of shit story. It wasn't elevating at all. So I had to, at the point, I had to tell him that I'm striking off that story. That is not adding anything to your story. You can say what you want to say, where you get your inspiration and all that, but there are some things that are not what things you need to really take into consideration. And let me stop here and give the participants more the opportunity to ask their questions. No hand is up. Okay, while we are waiting for more participants to ask questions, let me. Okay, Damilola Adewole. Okay. Okay, you read out the questions. David. Hello? Yeah, after Damilola, maybe you read out one or two of the questions. We'll continue.
Okay, sir. Please, could you help me with my question from the chat box? I'm outside. So.
I'm not here.
I can't hear you.
My question is in the chat box, sir.
Okay. Her question is in the chat box. Maybe David, please. Let's see.
All right. Let me help with the.
Thank you so much. No. Yeah, I saw what he wrote, the message, Damilola. That's a wrong thing to do. It's not right at all. Because reproducing it, which one is now original? The one you reproduce or the first one? And then the other clans seeing the same thing in the
Madam, please, can you read out the comment, what her comment is, the question?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma. Ma, is it ethical to accept a commission to reproduce a particular work that you have already sold? And I said, no. So I have been told to do something similar, but I didn't. And why? Because it's not right for an artist to start reproducing what you have done already, especially when you're trying to build a career and then make your work valuable. Once sold, you can make something similar, and there should be a differentiation from the other one and the new one. They might be similar, but it's never the same. It's not right to copy your own work.
My follow-up question.
Please, can I add to what?
Yes, sir.
Answered?
Go ahead, sir.
I'm even wondering how possible it is to reproduce yourself. Even when, for me, for instance, even when I try to reproduce what I had done before, somewhere along the line, I'll be able. Unless if it is such a technical thing that everything will become the same. For instance, I've done a theme, I've done it more than 10 times, and none looks like the other. But it's the same. It's the same idea that I'm putting forward. While I'm doing that, more information come into play and more experience is coming to play. I'm still saying the same thing, but with more ingredients or less ingredients, so to say. I'm only wondering how possible it is for one to even reproduce a work exactly. Because what do you think?
Well, it depends on the technique, because if it's throwing, as a ceramist, I want to use that as an example. So if I'm throwing and I want to make the same set of teapots, it just have to do with using the same measurements, and I'll get exactly that. And then the same batch of glaze. But in your own case, you're doing a painting that you're not watching, because what she wrote that she was commissioned. If you are commissioned to do exactly the same work. So then it will be like putting it like this and copying A to Z in that form. But if it's a commission that says, okay, I want something similar to this, or I want you to express yourself again in this from this direction, and then it's open. There will be changes, like you said, less or more ingredients to make up that piece. But if it's about okay, sit down and copy the eyes, like a portrait, maybe Mona Lisa. Now asking Da Vinci to make exactly another Mona Lisa, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to. There is something I experienced in a gallery some years back. A client who bought a work of art from the gallery, well, I think he paid well for the work. Then he came back one day to look for another thing to buy, and he saw a replica of what he had bought from the gallery. And he was so pissed off. He kept ranting and saying so many things, that if he had known that he wouldn't have paid for that work of art, that this is a sort of betrayal. So I'm just saying how terrible this kind of situation could be, and it's something that a professional artist should really be very, very careful about. Next do we have any other question or comment? Okay, Kenechukwu.
Yes, good morning, Ma. Thank you for the lecture. Good morning, our faculty members. Okay, Ma. So, my question goes like this. Ma, is there any law guiding the exact reproduction or printing of an artist's work? Is there any law that can go against someone that does that? Okay, that's the first question. Then the second question is, usually artists are advised to, usually young artists or upcoming artists, they're advised not to make their artworks so pricey, that they should make it cheap so that it can reach to collectors and people that can afford it, so that it would with time people will get to know you. So is it advised to sell artworks cheap as an upcoming artist? Thank you.
Okay, there's copyright law. So when you register your artwork, there are some professionals that are in charge of that, of registering your work as in under copyright. And when you have that already registered, and if someone should copy your work, you have the right to sue the person. And when it comes to the second one, it depends on what you call cheap. Because if the price you're setting is lower than your time, and then the material that you use in making it, you shouldn't be an artist in the first place. Because no matter what, even if you're a beginner or mid-career artist, you consider your materials, time involved, and then the environment also, and how, or the amount that other artists are charging. And then it will help you to determine the placement of your own price without going lower than what you have invested in it. And also you should consider that you're a business person that will need to make profit. So when you have calculated all that, you also add your maybe 10 to 15%, okay, as a beginner. Then you now put 5%, if you call that as being cheap. 5% of profit on top of your time and then cost of material. And then you make something that you have to grow from, and then increase the price as you go on in your practice.
Okay, thank you, ma. But ma, there is a follow-up question to that. The question is, how do we register an artwork? Because we are talking of registering an artwork. How do we, please just put us through on how to register our artwork for copyright? Thank you.
I told you there's a corporation that is in charge of that, just the same way that there is a corporation in charge of registering a business name. The only thing is to Google and find out which one in your own area or locality and or where to, and then you'll be able to, because most time artists or beginners, they avoid that because they think that it's expensive, even when they have not even really gone to find out what it would take to register an artwork. I know I have been approached or even given a link on where to register my work, but then the price I saw was between 10 euros to 120 euros, depending on the size of the work and the value that you place on the work. These are the determinants of the price that they're going to charge you to register the copyright. And I met a lady that was so reserved about her work based on that she has not registered it yet. So she didn't want people to touch or even get close to the piece because she had experience where her works were copied in the past. So she didn't want to share with the other artists that were present there that particular day because of she has not registered the piece. So she has the intention of registering it. If she had not been beaten before, she wouldn't know that she has the opportunity to register the work.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No, it's not in a general way. It has to be piece by piece, except if it's a composition. For the very first exhibition, I think I've answered that when I say you consider the cost of material. One, that's a non-negotiable feature of that. And then you look at your time. Then now, how do you quantify your charges are based on time, on an hour or something like that? And then you calculate that. And then you add 5% or 3% or 10% on of your profit on top of the cost and then time you took to spent in making the work, and that will give you a price that you will not sell below, or and you will definitely make a profit from.
Okay, just to let us know that we still have about 15 to 20 minutes to exhaust, before we come to the end of the question and answers session. So let's let's yield the floor to Dr. Jacob Onocha.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Let me see the thumbs up and others if I'm clear enough. Great. Thank you very much. Madam Ngozi, thank you so much for that's very interesting lecture. I was actually looking forward to it. And I say, no matter my engagement today, if I had to cancel my therapy session today, just to be in this class, to listen quietly and to follow.
Thank
You
you.
have
Thank you.
great destiny, and it was fun meeting you during the last LIMCAF. Such a simple
Thank you so
person,
much.
having gone so far in your practice. Well done. Prof is in the house and others, my greetings. Now on art pricing, what I'll say is this. There is this template that will help you. There's what is called beginning artist, intermediate artist, professional artist, well-collected artist, and exceptionally collected artist. Let me think people like Ngozi will fall in the range of well-collected artists because you have to think twice before, if the Obi of Onitsha will make a statement by saying, now I have to consult first whether I want to collect Ngozi's work or not. Let me quote and unquote, during the last LIMCAF, just for the fun of it. But the thing is this, the moment you know that your work is making good waves and you follow such templates, it's very easy for you to do your pricing and your costing. And when I sell to international clients, I don't give them the same pricing I give to locally based clients in Nigeria. I charge them based on what is known as best accepted international practice. And also with their charges, I also put in mind, I know I've sent a work to the United Kingdom before, that on getting to the UK, they still had to pay what is called another tax on the artwork before it got to the owner. That's the end user now. So all of these are things that you factor in, your time, your intellect, materials, very importantly, but more so on your placements. I sell my work like an undergraduate. I gave one of my young students a commission to go and do, and he asked me, say, sir, how much do I charge? I said, you can't begin to think you want to charge the way I want to charge. Charge based on your level. But meanwhile, do a simple research among your other colleagues that are doing such things. The young man is good, yes, but you must follow rules of procedure so that we're not placing the horse before the cart or vice versa. Thank you very much.
Hey, I want to say something about what you said, placing different prices based on locality or the individual involved. It's going to make it like you're not consistent with your pricing. And it's not good because when someone who you can get someone like now, assuming that I'm in the United States or UK and I want to buy your work, and knowing that you charge extra because I'm approaching you from that place, then I could get someone in Nigeria to buy the same work from you and ship to me. And when you're pricing your work, you factor in all those taxes. Like some people, even when you're buying water, they charge you tax on it. And they will say, while they are printing your receipt, you see the price for the water and you see the tax for the water. Even your food, they are taxed. So and you see the price of that tax in it. So some establishments, they charge you the tax separately from the amount involved in what you are purchasing. And some include the tax in the price. So, and when they look at the reaction, which will be easier for people to understand, to include it and they not charge them tax later on or separate them, And you find out that as an artist or galleries, they found out that from my experience that when they put the price, let's say $25, and then tax $2, and then they found out that most time people just look at the 25 and then the 2, that's 27. They will just give up. They wouldn't want to continue with the purchase. But when they say, when you say $25, including the tax, they, okay, 25 is reasonable without additional burden. So that sense of additional burden is what discourages most clients or someone that wants to buy. But if everything is inclusive, okay, once they decide, knowing the price, there's no additional hidden fee or something like that, okay, they are good to go. So, and it's not right to be, to make your work and your price consistent, you have to assume that you're talking to the same audience, whether in Nigeria or in the UK. Rather, if you feel that your market in Nigeria is not worth it, or locally is not worth it, then don't engage locally, than lowering price here and increasing the other side.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Remember that our students are upcoming artists. Madam Ngozi has become a big, a huge professional artist. I'll think that if it was when she just finished masters in 2000, sorry, first degree in 2005, that he went to do an exhibition, she may have something different to say. Let us stick to what she said about how you add up your things when you have brought your materials together, what it costs you to get to so materials, and the time input and the rest of them. Then you add a little on top of it, but it gives you something that you can call reasonable. Even for a person, you say that the person that did this thing has some sense. But let me tell you that I had done a work in my final year as a student. Someone came around, saw what I was drawing, and said, could you make a drawing of me right now? I will have to pay. And meanwhile, before I started the drawing, I hadn't had breakfast and lunch, and I didn't have money at all. And the person sat for me. What was on my head that particular time was what was going to give me the next meal. You are talking as a person that is, balanced, and we understand what you are saying and how you respond professionally. In fact, let me tell you that the much he paid was what was going to buy my food for, I think 3 meals. That was the amount of money he bought in my final year. He sat there, and I did the drawing. And the person rushed out and told another person. And by the time the next person came, I had eaten. I had gone out to eat. And I had some energy and some sense. Some sense. When I did for that person, what he paid was what was going to feed me for 1 month. I'm telling you, that was as a student. That was, or rather, as a final year student. I'm a person that is selling my artwork. I wouldn't keep my price somewhere when I am dying of hunger, So when we have already gotten the how to price it. I think that El Anansi told us that when he was teaching us some of these things. He made mention of something similar to that, because what he asked us was to check yourself. How much do you think you are worth in a month? Let's assume that someone is paying you salary. I'm telling you, this was what he told us when we had just graduated. By that time, El hasn't become whom he has become today. But that was what he told us that time. So how much do you think you are worth now? Okay, assuming that someone is going to pay you a salary, how much is he going to pay you? And this thing has taken you this length of time to produce. And you can start from there. That's just what I want to add. I agree perfectly with what the lecturer said. But I just wanted to add the other one. The real thing.
Yes, yes. If you listen to me, you understand. I said as a beginner, you have to put a small amount of already established artists might be deciding to put 20%, 30% over the total cost and the production fee. But as a beginner, you might start with 2%, 3%, even 1%, or even just covering the material because you want to get more people to know about your work. But when you now go lower, you're not making any progress. You are slaving, and it's not right. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Okay, maybe I should just chip in quickly. In terms of pricing, like what I was saying for the international clients and for the local clients, I think Prof just got my mindset on that. And that's being that, take for instance, they say a Coca-Cola on the streets is different from a Coca-Cola in a regular hotel, and it's different from the same Coca-Cola in Sheraton. They all pass through the same production line, okay? But value is added with the place in which it was substantiated at that moment. So it is very interesting to say that, because the taste is still going to be the same. What your international client is looking at to drink that Coca-Cola in a Sheraton is different from what I will just go to one booker person in the corner to drink the same Coca-Cola. So
their price of production is not the same. Their price of production is not the same. The taxes the Sheraton is paying is far much than the booker, and that's what I said. Your cost and then your time.
The length I'm trying to draw. From this, what I'm trying to draw from it is this: that if I take, for instance, if you go on my site and you check that this painting is this amount, there's always a caveat to it. Terms and condition of delivery applies. So if a work is coming to Lagos, for instance, and the person I'm going to send it through the GIG and everything, if I'm selling the work for 100K, take for instance, okay, and getting to Lagos, plus or minus is going to cost, say, 20,000 naira or thereabouts. All of such things will still form terms and condition of the work getting to you. Finally, it's different from when it's getting across the borders, because there are so many other things you are going to put in place. So the thing is this: as we advance in our dealing with clientele over time, you get to know that you shift grounds at some certain points just to make sure things work out well for you and also for the clients to keep up. Okay. Why there are some other times that I remember reading something that stick to a particular price regime. If I tell my student to do that one now, or those that just finished and are in their first year serving, they will just die of hunger, just like Prof said. So sometimes keep upscaling, keep learning gradually, and when you get to a point, then you now begin to talk like the professional you are. So the whole idea of the boot camp, I feel, is to make you see, or make people see, a multi-diversionary approach to things. A good number of us here are in the academia, so we know just what we're talking about. Get the next generation of artists to learn, to understand, and then, of course, we can now build on something more concrete so that our peculiar profession will not suffer losses as against other people that are in galleries and other things. And then, of course, we are the ones slaving it out they are the ones enjoying and milking us out of the best of what we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let me.
I understand what you're saying, and then I think we are repeating ourselves because what you're saying is in line with what I'm saying. That you start some point and increase, and then your cost of production is what is part of the determinants of your price. And if, like me, if I'm selling you a piece, I don't include the transportation. I tell you handle it. And then if you say I should do it, then I have, before giving you a quotation, I have to check everything and know the exact amount or estimated amount that will cover that. So is that a social conversation that I say that is needed? Is through that even before naming your price, because if you name your price beforehand and then you start fixing all those things, and then it makes the budget bogus, and then the person lose interest. But if you engage the person, okay, where are you located? Okay, now, okay, I'm going to consider the tax, I'm going to consider transportation, and then all that, and then it's going to be added onto the price. Or would you want to handle it yourself? So it will be just giving you the piece. And when you have reached a decision with the client, then you now know how to go about the pricing or the charges, and then or the responsibility of the client and the artist. That's what I'm saying, and that's what we have been repeating.
I wanted to ask Dr. Jacob Onoja a question, because he's one. I've gone through some of his online activities, and he strikes me as a very prolific painter, able to come up with many works. I don't know how many works he's able to paint in a day, but talking about control, how do you make sure you don't have some of these artworks, plenty? I just want to know how he is able to moderate his the number of, is it the accessibility or the availability of his works, so that it won't affect value. Of course, I'm also mindful of the fact that he's an academic. He can do without even selling works of art for some time. But just to hear from him, Dr. Jacob.
But one should have. One could also ask you a question. How long do you think you can live on Earth? How long do you think? There are people who think, let's do this thing as it comes. No one knows tomorrow and things. I've seen people who behave like that, and some of them left quite early, as if they were told. But what I get from what the lecturer was saying is that there's a way you bring out everything, you will become common in the eyes, or in the eyes of people. So that it's common sense that you just be showing the things small, so that you don't just become common. There are some drawings that I sit back and some of my most successful drawings, within 15 minutes, I am done. But some people may begin to judge me like that. That means that sometimes I could make like 5 drawings, or more than 5 drawings per day. But the thing is that after that, it may take a very long time before I sit back to do another set of drawings and so on. So there are certain things you judge, certain things you dangle this way, balance this way and that way. That's common sense thing. That you don't show everything that you have immediately, so that they will say, okay, now so what is there to see again? But if you are that prolific that you keep throwing them out, you haven't sold them, they can see the thing, and if they want to buy, they will buy. After all, our lecturer says that some are not for sale. You can finish and buy, and you'll be begging the person to sell, and you will say no, they are all for me. Some people can also use that as a marketing device. There are 500 of them, 1,000 of them, but I don't want to sell, unless if you can pay so for just 2 that I want to sell this year. They will say, okay, bring, let me. It's a matter of strategy.
Yeah. Yes, I think Prof just got my mindset on that, and that is one. I am a prolific artist. As at this morning, before the 10 o'clock meeting, I have finished a 3x4 painting. I started this some days ago. I finished it today and signed it off today. Okay. Now the thing is this: you really don't know when God will ask you to come to the other side. And with that in mind, I think the wisdom of Solomon will be that Solomon was multi-diversionary in nature. He wrote so much. He wrote about plant life. He wrote about this. As a person of faith, basically, I believe that one, so long as the inspirations are forthcoming, just keep working. If it is in terms of my academic work, I write, and I write ravenously too. When I sit to write, I write. I'm an art historian. I trained as an art historian and also a painter. So I merge both. So the truth is that sometimes what I even post is a fragment of what I produce as a person. And I have learned to juggle my time in between to know when I should be doing studio, when I should be doing family time, when I should be doing faith-based activities, being in church and other things like that. And I can just sit in front of my easel. Like Prof said, in few seconds, painting would have come out in a minute, in 1 hour. So for most people, they will not see some works until they come to my exhibition. That's the very truth. I don't post everything. Those ones I kept solely for deep discussions. So when you come to my exhibition, you get to see that. So I always encourage my students, be prolific, work and work and work again. And the more you work, the more you experiment, the more you learn new methods, the more you get better with whatsoever thing you are doing. While I started as a painter in my university days and things like that with what I loved, what I can do then, take for instance, in a day or two, in few hours now, I'll finish it and I'll finish it successfully well and I'll term it a successful piece. So it all depends on how you create. Like sometimes when I see got this work, those little bits and pieces of putting them together, twining them, putting them, it's hundreds and thousands of hours put together. So it's your dedication and your output at the end of the day. So to me, and while it works well, is that I tell my students, I teach entrepreneurship in my university. If your art is not paying your bills, then rethink whatsoever thing you are doing. So if I get a hotel and ask me, can I have 200 pieces for all the rooms? I could give that. If I get an international client that is looking for something, a content that is dealing with depth in discussion, I can also get that. So it's a multi-diversionary thing. There's no hard and fast rule to that. It's how you think through the process and how you allow the process to run. Thank you. Maybe I should stop at that. So 50 musings through my art practice is still there. The stories are there. You can get it properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Onoja. And you know, you mentioned something while you were talking, that your processes, you don't have enough. You are not able to even post all you do. And while you were talking, you mentioned the facilitators' processes as a natural control mechanism. Because it takes her so much time to come up with one. That is from my own understanding, because once you take a look at her work, the first thing that comes to mind is, how much time did it take this person to create this work of art? So you might even be thinking that maybe 2 months or maybe 3 months. So if you're posting one, if you're posting one work every 3 months, that won't come across as posting too much. Abi, madam, do you want to?
No, you don't need to talk. All you need to do is to get to her studio. When you go to her studio and you see the process, you may not need to say anything again. You just pack your things and tag them up. Because and you also see all sorts of things around her, the children to feed, and those that may decide to come and join and pinch holes and need play and so on. It's such a tedious work. I applaud her.
It's like we have become carried away. I can see David. David is like you want to say something about our time. Okay. Okay. Okay, I saw her. I was about calling her, but it's good that you brought her up. Bilkisu, go ahead with your question.
All right, thank you so much. So, ma'am, my question is this. I have seen some cases where a client will love an artist's work so much. They know the story behind it, they know the value of the work. But then maybe because the artist is still an upcoming artist, they can tell that this artist hasn't gotten that kind of ground yet, and they are in a desperate situation. So they feel they can now take advantage of that kind of situation and now downprice the work. Like they'll try to negotiate the work lower. So in a case where a client approaches you and says they love your work so much, but then that it is too expensive, expecting you to bring down the price. So how do you respond to this kind of, comment? And if you decide to negotiate it, how do you do it without making your work lose any value? That's my question.
And sometimes they will even add that they want to give you visibility. They want to, introduce you to other clients and all that. Madam.
Okay, yeah, I saw something recently that relates to that very well. It's saying that if a client approaches you and wants you to reduce the price or negotiate with you, you shouldn't be quick to reduce the price based on that you're upcoming. But if you're reducing, you're not reducing the price, but you remove some features. Like, okay, I'm not going to frame it. It's going to be like this, you frame it. So as you're removing price, you're removing some features in it. Is a good way to go about it. And when they say they want to give you a visibility, or how did the person get to know you? Was it through someone else? It's because you created this social, you created this online awareness. And through there, other artists, other collectors will see you. And when you're there, this visibility is already there because internet has made it that wherever you are in the world, anybody can see you. And then through that social online awareness, and if that person uses that as an excuse, and then you look at your production as this way we talked about pricing. And because you already know that, oh, this, if I go lower than this, I'm not making any money. And be able to say, no, I don't want to sell it below this. And you find out that at the end of the day, if it's someone that really, really connects with your work, he will buy it. I have an example. In 2008, I went for CPAN, CPAN exhibition in Lagos, in the museum there. So when we were pricing, they were asking for prices. I didn't know what to put as an upcoming artist because then I just enrolled in my MFA. So, and then I wasn't, like Prof said, I wasn't so much about the money I'm going to make, but how to fare, as in feed and all that. So, and like, if they had allowed me to price that work, I would have said 5,000. But then I said, I don't know what to price. And then the curator said, okay, let me put 20,000. And that's where the person that's interested can negotiate there. So I saw this potential buyer, and she was watching, trying to measure the work, appreciate the work. And I was standing close to her, ready to say, to reduce the price. And she was like, oh, no, I'm not talking about the price. I'm talking about where I'll place it in my home. Already she has made up her mind that she's going to buy it, not looking at the price. So that's when someone is really keen to collect your work. Other things is like if you want to buy something and you start reducing the value so that you'll be able to get it cheaper. And if you allow the customer to continue in that direction and tell you what, and now become a determinant of your pricing, then anybody can cheat you. But if you are the determinant of your price, and then you are ready to say no to a given customer or a given client that is pricing lower than what you invested. Yeah, the thing is, no matter how hungry you are, you shouldn't drink what you're not meant to or drink poison.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma.
Okay. Before I call Kenechukwu Timothy to ask his question, I just want to let us know that we have the time is 11:42 a.m. and by that we are supposed to be on that's a short break. We are supposed to have a short break. So I would, Madam, do you have the second segment of your presentation, or do we just go ahead seamlessly? Hello, I can't hear you.
David hasn't sent that to me yet.
Okay, so I suggest we go for a break. When we come back, okay, let's take a Kenechiku's question, please. After that, we'll go for a break, for a 15 minutes break.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Kenechukwu, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here, sir. Thank you, sir, for the chance, and thank you, ma, for the lecture so far. Okay, ma. Then I'm talking about dressing now, like dressing to meet a client or dressing for an exhibition for an artist. You know, most times some people will be like, it's good to dress as an artist, it's good to dress controversial. Maybe one, for instance, for the sake of example, maybe one trouser up, another trouser down, to show that you're an artist, that makes artists unique and, you know, stand out among the crowd. So is it advised to dress controversial or dress maybe official with suit and tie, or dress? What's your advice on that, man? Thank you, man.
He didn't add dreadlocks and torn jeans.
Well, I would say that's not it, because packaging will not increase the value of your piece, because they are not buying you, and they are not going to negotiate based on that you dress rugged or anything like that. It's about what you have on display and the storyline, whether you're in a corporate wear or in a casual wear. It doesn't add or reduces the value. But I think it's good to dress smartly. Yeah, it's good to dress smartly so that you will not, instead of reducing the value, you'll be adding to it. Because when you're smart looking and confident, then you don't need that kind of packaging. You're already an artist, they have seen your work and they are engaging with you, they are discussing with you, and you are able to relate with them and pass along, connecting with them emotionally. That emotion is what drives them to buy. So it's not about your dressing like an artist in quotes, because an artist like I am, I never dress like that.
Okay. Let me just let me add this. There was when Ella Natsui and Professor Ella Natsui and Professor Obiora Udechi were celebrated during the Anya Fulugo exhibition. So there is this successful artist that came around. His name is Ibrahim Mahama, a Ghanaian contemporary artist. So after the exhibition ended, and if you know who Professor Onuzulike is, Ozioma Onuzulike, somebody that likes, you know, he doesn't like all those earring, torn jeans and all those things, and then you do it and you be going around saying I'm a controversial artist. So he came on and he was like, "Did you people see Ibrahim Mahama?" We said yes, we saw him. He said, "Did you see him? Did you see him with an earring on one ear and some torn jeans and one and beards, you know, clean beards and dreadlocks?" We said no, that he was just looking normal. He said, "Do you think that has diminished his art?" We said no, that he's doing well. He said that's what he's trying to drive at. That you don't need to look too eccentric, you know, and you know, sometimes even unkempt for people to know that you're an artist. Somebody once asked me why I don't look like other artists. I said, "How do other artists look?" He said, "You don't act weird." I say, "Well, I don't understand that. Maybe those are the artists, you know, the weird artists. Maybe you is only the weird artists that you've known all this while. But that there are a lot of artists that are just normal people like you. It's just that they do their art." Anyway, that's my own thought on that. Precious Samuel, I don't know whether we should take your question. We are supposed to be on break now. But I like the way you talk when you make your contribution. Maybe we should just take it for a wrap up. Precious, are you there? Precious Samuel. Okay. I think it's a signal that we should go on break. And then when we come back in the next 15 minutes, we'll continue.
She has come now.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead with your question or comment. I can't hear. I can't hear. Can you people hear her? Okay. This is 10 minutes to 12 o'clock. So we'll be coming back in the next 15 minutes. Let's not make it African time, please, so that we can wrap up by the time we come back. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can choose to stay in the call
Thank you.
while
Thank you.
we wait for the break to pass, or you can just minimize your screen and then come back at the same time. We will be having the second slide, which is on understanding, which is on understanding. Let me check it. Understanding client needs and negotiating and pricing. So we'll come back in the next few minutes for the second session. Thank you.
So we'll be coming back by 5 minutes past 12. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Um, okay, thank you. Okay. Hello? I think maybe we should try to reach out to the facilitator so that we can start. If you can give her a call, let her start because we are running behind schedule.
Okay. I think in our previous section, we seems to have discussed most of this second section. So when we are discussing the pricing, how do you go up and down, and then client needs. So it seems like the first section and the second one is overlapping. So, and that's why we were able to move in and out of the second section. So, excuse me. So I'll go into the first slide, building your emotional intelligence. Building your emotional intelligence is very important because that's your ability to know when to stop, and then being able to reason or the right question that you can ask your client, especially when you want to know their need. So you have to ask question about what their expectations are, and then you listen. While you're asking, you're listening and watching when with all to find out those vocal as in verbalized issues and the ones that are not. And then you give suggestions, and from that suggestion and because of the emotional intelligence, you're not suggesting in a pushy way. You're just giving them a cue to be able to understand their needs, especially the ones that are not spoken. And then watching their expressions will help you to know whether you're hitting the right nail or you're not, or maybe you're even sidetracking the conversation. So as you dig deeper to understand their requirements, and then you listen, and then you acknowledge their perspective, not forcing your own feeling or understanding on them, but while you're listening and you're cueing in some words, it will help you to get their perspective and even build rapport and trust. And this trust is very delicate. The trust is for you to not give as much as you as an artist and you want to sell. Then this trust, building it, and it's very delicate, as I said, because you wouldn't want them to get the notion that all you care is to sell. So you don't even know what or whether you don't show them what they're going to benefit. Like we said, when you create when you look at that through their through the conversation with them, you'll be able to understand how to go about their I mean, here what I mean is when you're discussing with a potential buyer, and then and you are able to discover their need, you'll be able to channel your points, and you speak with confidence, and then aligning it, because sometimes you change your story, tweak your story a little bit to align with what they are saying, especially if you have this connection with them and that is not totally off. So you're not convincing, but you're just trying to use the right word at the right pace to convince them. And then when you to make to help them decide, make it clear for them to decide on what they want and how to go about it. And that's a way of building rapport and then trust. So we'll go to the next slide. So when you have built this this relationship with your client, not a personal relation, as in intimate relationship, you know. So you focus on how your clients will benefit. So that's the value-based solution. You focus on how they will benefit, even though it's a shared ideology. Your story captivated them, and then they want to have this tangible representation of your creative output. So when you now focus on that benefit and share your portfolio, both sold and available. When we say sold and available, something reasonable for you to share, and they get the idea of your value and the justification of your pricing. Because if you do not show where you started, a little about that, and then just how you have jumped to or bumped the price so high, they will be thinking you are ripping them off. But when you show your portfolio a little bit of that, of both available and then sold work, it will get their interest because others are already collecting your work. It's like a convincing bit that people are collecting your work, so they will want to share in that fad at the moment. So looking at negotiation technique, anchoring, offering discounts from the initial price. Like we said in the first session, that when you price or you are negotiating with a client, and there's a rule you have created, shipping in case that shipping in case that in a situation where you offer shipping, free shipping. But if the price is too high and then you want to discount a little bit, then you'll have to remove some of those features that made the price or a bit steepy. So, and then you present your offer in a positive light, not like outright disconnection because this person has a lower budget, or this person is you're perceiving the person as not someone that will be able to afford your work. So you frame your discount in a positive light, emphasizing the value and benefits. And in that direction, the person will be able to make decision from based on the clear description you have given the client. So I'll go to the next slide. Handling objections. As I mentioned before in the first section, not expecting differences as in resentment from or dissatisfaction or even disinterest from a client is actually being naive or just being gullible, because they, as human interact, there will always be objections and then indifferences. So understanding your client's objection and concerns and handling it properly, clear explanation to address the issues and offer solutions makes your client to have confidence in you, and then also that trust it will be more stronger than before, because how you handle an issue will project how understanding and how emotional intelligent you are. So, and recognizing your own limits is also part of handling objections, because sometimes we are carried away and as an artist, sometimes we get too emotional. So, and then the next point, building relationships, focusing on establishing a long-term relationship. Yeah, because how you handle this client goes a long way, even in that client recommending you for other collectors or buyers, and maintaining contact professionally with the clients. Most times people mix business with emotion, and then get carried away, and then when you mix it up, sometimes it doesn't end up in a proper form. And when you maintain this professional contact with your clients, they know the boundaries, the unspoken boundaries, and then also you know your own. The client knows where they stop, and then you also know things that you ask and things you don't ask in order to maintain it professionally. So I go to the next slide. Yeah, I will mention about not outrightly exhibiting desperation. I want to sell. How much? Okay, even if it's 10 naira, just buy. I need to eat. No, that's not the way to get a good bargain. So not being keen on pricing, immediately you see someone, oh, this, you go straight to the price is 10,000 or the price is 10 million. Either your man or it doesn't make, most time it must the effort. So you find out what they really want, because they already know your story. Now it's what they really want. Is it because they want to fill a space, or is it because they want to connect with your art? In all this, finding out all these details, we even help you to know the placement of your pricing. And then, like Professor Ono just said, knowing the client helps you to determine whether you should make your pricing bogus or lean. So, and no matter how you want to go high or low, it should not go below your expenses or your production costs in little of your profit. So you find out what they really want, set your price accordingly, research on other artists. That's when we'll now talk about, okay, an uprising artist. Okay, I might have an exceptional technique and style, and my artwork is really good. Okay, now from this zone, from this caliber, at what range do they set their price? Okay, if I'm going to go up a little bit because I'm better than them, okay, this shouldn't be more than 2% higher, or even 1% is enough to differentiate that you're good. But if you're on the average, just like your colleagues, then you should set your price within that same caliber, and then based on your input, as in production costs, and then you multiply the factors with the size of the artworks, because that you sold 1 foot by 2 feet by 1 foot painting or a piece of art in 10,000 doesn't mean then you will now sell 5 feet or 7 feet, 5 feet piece at the same range. So you have to multiply factors with the size of the artworks, and then and mark up to accommodate individual differences. The individual differences here now is about where the person is coming from, or the tax or the shipping, and then and again status also come to play. in the with someone within, as in local versus international. So that's all that comes to play in your marking up to accommodate individual differences. And number 7 point says, never cut the price without cutting the scope. Like we said before, don't, okay, I want this piece. Oh, I love it, but it's so expensive. Okay, how much do you want to pay? Okay, I'll pay 10,000, but the price is 15,000. Okay, if you just go straight to cutting down, oh, the person will have this feeling. It's a psychological thing. Oh, maybe you are overpricing your work. But when you say, okay, if I'm going to cut it down to suit your budget, I'm going to remove some features. And when I remove these features, it will come down to your budget. And then the person will now choose whether to keep the features and then or to eliminate that and get it at the price they can afford at that time. So we'll go to the next slide. So working out your expenditure before pricing is very, very important, because it's when you know the minimum acceptable price, assuming that you spent 20,000 making a piece of work, you add your time at, let's say, 30,000, making it 30,000, and then your value, let's say, extra 2,000 on top, that's 32,000. And when you already know that this is the amount that you cannot go below, and you put the price at 35, and you created this room for negotiation, okay, no matter what, you cannot bring it down lower than 32. But without your knowledge, without the prior calculation and knowing the margin that you can go, the lowest that you can go, then you will not go below that. At the end of the day, you find that you instead of gaining, you lost. So so knowing this margin, the lowest margin, is very important, so that when they are pricing, if you have room for discounts, like some galleries discount 10%, and then for corporate, and then for museum, they even go as low as 20%. So if you start going down this percentage track without knowing the lowest margin, you can easily go below what you have invested in the artwork entirely. So before pricing, state the lowest margin, and then be able to accommodate the percentage discount without losing your the cost of production, or even your time and the effort and the value at the end of the day. So, and then using to the number 9 point, use a written offer strategy. Looking at this example, you see the retail price, the sales tax, shipping, and then total amount. Everything is covered. And then special courtesy, you reduce the amount, that's the percentage, and then the percentage that you are discounting for this special or this collector. But if you have not really specified all these things and just go down and start cutting, you might go below, and most time you will go below because you have no knowledge or idea of where to stop and still gain something. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, and thank you so much for this session. It has been absolutely amazing. I have about 3 questions. Sorry, can I be heard? Can you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, well, sorry, I have about 3 questions. So the first question is, Ma, your success story, I mean, your story generally is just so inspiring. And I just wanted to ask how you were able to get here, because I checked through your social media handle. It wasn't like you were doing a whole lot of posting like our generation has to do. And the heights and the spaces you've had to exhibit in is amazing. With you being a lecturer, a family woman, and being able to create such magnificent sizes of works, how you're able to like manage all of that, and how you're able to get some of these opportunities or get into some of these spaces, especially in an era where social media and the internet was probably not as much of a big thing then as it is now, because it's really amazing and inspiring. So that's the first question. Ma, would you like me to go through all 3, or you want to answer them one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time.
Okay.
One at a time. Okay. So the thing is that when it comes to my practice, sometimes I don't even understand myself because I will be in this role at this moment, and then the other minute I'm in a different role, and like juggling this. I will not tell you it's easy. It's not easy. And then I think at some point when somebody asked me, "What time do you sleep?" And it's just like when you already made up your mind that no matter the odds, that you will do something, even if it's small. I like Martin Luther King. I think I like that quote a lot when he said that if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. Even if you can't run, if you can't walk and you can't run, crawl. As long as you're making a movement. So at some point in my life and practice, and I see that, oh, it's so overwhelming. I said, even if I'm crawling, I must move. So in that direction, I have already anticipated that it's going to take time to produce a piece because of all the engagements, but I'm determined that at the end of the day, I have to complete that piece. So no matter the time that it takes to produce the piece.
Okay, Ma, and it's still in that same question about how you're able to get some of those opportunities, especially during a time when the internet wasn't like a booming thing during maybe your younger years, and then seeing even your social media page and the way you're like posting maybe once a month or once in 2 months, compared to our generation that even when you post 1,000 times, you're still begging that you are seen or you get certain opportunities. So I'm just curious how you're able to get into some of these top spaces.
Okay, yeah, when it comes to posting something relevant is number one. It's not how frequent you're posting, but how strong and the message that you're trying to share, that storyline. So people connect to you based on that storyline, and then again, your technique, and then how well the mastery of your creativity. So, and how I got into those spaces as in the exhibition, I started with applying for competition, and then from competition, residencies, and then even from the time, as in the duration that it takes for me to share a piece, people seems to, I would say that because I'm not posting regularly, and why I mentioned it in the first section that it's not about what you're creating. It might take you 3 years, or if you watch people outside this country, sometimes it takes them 10 years to produce a piece. I know of an artist that did not even finish the one that he was working before he died. So it's not about finishing quickly and still will not get noticed, but taking your time to really connect both in technique and your storyline. And when you now share it, it will continue to resonate. It continues to ring in their mind, and then at some point they see your work again. It becomes a confirmation to what they have seen before. Oh, and it's not like this artist is fading away. It's taking time to create something strong. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. So I'll just move on to my next question, but just chip this in. Like what platform you use to share your works? Because I think the ones I saw on Instagram were more of like exhibitions. So the platforms you use to share your works to your audience, maybe email or the platform you use, basically. So then yes, okay.
Yeah, I started with emailing, and then a blog site that is not active, but it's still there. It still has some of my content in it. And then I moved to Facebook, from Facebook to Instagram. And most of the things that I share, most of them are just exhibitions, because if you watch the production processes of most of my work, you will see that I have I've been, because I am determined to practice, I don't limit myself based on space or that I need it finished before I can start producing. I can work from, in fact, I started working from the sit-out passage, as in any little space that I have at that point in time, it can be my studio. So most of the studio processes, they are from uncompleted buildings. So I hardly share those processes because of the lighting, poor lighting, the background, not very, very professional. So I have to wait until the exhibition or the works are in a clear and clean environment to snap and share. So that's what.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. So my next question is, talking about pricing, there is this thing that most galleries are doing nowadays. By the time they collect their commissions, some of their commissions are as high as 30, 40, 50%. In fact, it's almost like a benchmark now. Galleries are taking 50-50 from artists. So how would you advise an artist to price their work in such a way that, one, if you want to say, okay, you calculate the actual work, the actual amount that you want, say for instance, 100K, and then you know that the galleries are going to collect 50%, then you now try to do 200,000, so that by the time they take their 50%, you collect 100K that you originally want. But that could result in maybe your work being overpriced, for instance. So how do you balance that with okay, you don't want your work to go too high, but you don't want to shortchange yourself because the gallery is asking for something as high as 50% as commission for your work?
Okay, yeah, I asked a question similar to someone at some point in time like that. And then he was saying that the same thing applies. Like you said, you will not go lower than the pricing. So if a gallery is collecting 50-50, as in 50% for the gallery and 50 for the artist, then the artist should push for the gallery to also support in the production fee, so that the burden of production will not be solely on the artist. So if they are sharing the proceed, okay, now you know that you're not losing when they collect their 50, because they have contributed in the production, shipment, and the insurance. And your own is the part of your production, and then your time and the energy. So that's how to mock it up. If not, if you're spending everything and then they will take 50%, it will result in what you say, overpricing at the end of the day, you will not sell. Or you will be selling like, because one artist say that he would prefer to sell at good price, even if it's once a year, that then he now use the money to support himself till the next sale. So it's all about what you decide to do and how to go about it, because there's always a meeting point.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Although some galleries now, especially when you have cases like you've already done the work, maybe they have an open call, for instance. So at that open call, you're already done with the work, right? And it's not like you can contribute to the production initially. So in cases like that, some of them will even insist that you are the one that will ship the work to the gallery by yourself. And the only time they contribute to anything is if the work does not sell, and they will send it back. Some of them will even say that you have to be the one to come and call it back, and they will still be asking for like 50%, which is...
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That when you appear like that, open call, and you do not read the terms and conditions, yeah, you are the one begging for your representation. But if they approach you based on your technique and mastery, and then your potential, then you now have a grant for you to negotiate with them. You now get it. But when you're going,
Yes, ma'am.
asking them, and you have already lost that footing of negotiation.
Thank you, Ma. And my last question is based off of the flyer I saw, which is how to write compelling proposals for your clients, or maybe like residency grants, or maybe, for instance, exhibition at a gallery. So how to write compelling proposals, especially when maybe your story or the kind of works you create does not exactly match what the residency is about, in quotes. It's a good opportunity. Your work can fit into to a certain extent, but maybe like the story is a bit different. For instance, maybe a residency opportunity that focuses on traditional art, and then maybe your own form of art is not necessarily traditional, but it's still in line with your community or something like that. So how to just basically write compelling proposals to have for opportunities. I think some ideas have been shared over time during this session, as during the boot camp. So I'm just asking for more.
Can you repeat yourself, because it was breaking, so the communication wasn't fluent.
All right, sorry, ma. I was saying that during the course of the boot camp, we've learned over and over, especially during portfolio review, how to write a cover letter for a proposal. So I just wanted to ask for more knowledge on how to write a compelling proposal for opportunities like residencies, grants, or exhibition at a gallery, or just proposals generally for a client, for opportunities. Was I clear? Hello?
You have to
Hello, ma, did you
read
get
the
the question?
theme also. You have to read the theme of the and on their because you want to submit for every your proposal is to still not be selected. So the basic is to get their theme, the scope, what their mission is, and then you either weave your idea around there, or you look for the one that is aligning with your own projection. So that's what I have to say about that. Because writing a good proposal, how you have to start with knowing where your I was saying that for you to apply for a residency grant or an open call generally, you have to read their theme, their aim, what they want to achieve, their scope, the purpose of that establishment, and it will help you to know whether your own objective is aligning with their own aim. And if it's not, no matter how good your write-up is, it will still not be selected because it's not in their, as in it's not in their own objective. It's not serving the same purpose. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma. But there are some cases where they have maybe an open end to the rest. They don't have like a particular theme. They just have it's just open.
Okay. Yes, when it's something like that about a residency that is open for everything, then they are looking out for the strongest applicants, as in both in creativity, their storyline. Yeah. Because I think this one was even an invitation for me to apply. And what I was narrating as my own storyline wasn't in their own agenda. So they selected the person that is closest to their own plan, even when it's not written. So that's how it goes.
Thank you, ma. Thank you so much, ma.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, just to say that I've been having network issues from my end, so I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. I'm just able to get into the call a few minutes. I've missed a lot, but it's I I couldn't help it. Okay. Hello. Yeah, David, you just have to continue. I think I'm almost there.
Okay, thank you, Ma, for the lecture so far. Ma, is it wise to expose the cost of the cost breakdown to your customers? Because sometimes they might be like the work is too pricey, and then you're trying to explain. So is it wise to go into breaking down the costs, like telling them, even if it's not breaking down the cost for them to understand? Thank you, Ma.
No, I did not get the question. That's what I said. Can he type it? Because I saw.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, coordinator, sir. Thank you. It's a very enlightening session, and I've been listening to all that. I'm engaged in some CDS activities as a proper. So, but so far, what I've learned, starting from the first line, Dr. Mrs. Ngozi mentioned that from how I start to where I am, it's not jollof rice, till the quoting the Martin Luther King that if you can't fly, you run. Can't run, keep walking. The goal is just to keep moving. Yeah. There will be times where we can make mistakes as well, but we are learning in the process, pricing the works, knowing what to apply for, how to apply, engaging the communication and keeping the relationship steady. It's a whole lot to learn, but once we put our heart to it and put our mind to it, it's definitely, gonna be a sweet and delightful story to tell. So for me, it's a very personal. That's me interpreting what I've gained in my own word. Once again, thank you very much, man. God bless.
I do. Thank you, sir. I do not want to respond because my thinking might probably be like summarizing the entire session. But I think the key one for me was about if you're giving a discount, make sure you're still not offering the very same things. I think that's very key. Making sure that to know that they would be having some features taken out. So that way it gives them options and leverage. So it doesn't feel like they won entirely in quotes, that they are getting everything at a discounted price. So it places more value on your works. And then being able to create relevance and scarcity with your works too was also very key for me. Then making sure to connect with them, building a relationship with them such that they know that you are not just after their money. That way it helps you understand them better and better position yourself as a professional. So that's amongst many things. And yes, just like Mr. Kayode said, making sure that I keep on moving no matter how difficult it is. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ma. And the proposals too.
Thank you. Yes, that's what we're saying that when you're transparent, your clients will understand the benefit they are what they stand to gain with the whole package. Because some of the hotel or cafeteria, they will tell you the whole package is this amount, and then this eliminating some features is this amount. It will help the client to fall to the range that the person can afford, as in within their budget limit. That's why it's good also to break down and not just when you when the clients felt that it's too pricey, then you start saying all this as if you're defending yourself. But if it's open already, they are what they are benefiting, then there's no room for a negotiation. You have even eliminated the burden of trying to convince the person because they already, and this is the package. Okay, now I'm going for this or going for the upper one.
Yeah, sorry if I may, can you hear me? Yeah, so I like to really appreciate Ngozi Omeje for this wonderful lecture and the total breakdown. I mean, that simplified most part of it. I love the area where she emphasized the fact that you don't have to be rigid. The problem with most artists is that they just want to be rigid with their price unnecessarily. I like the fact that you have to engage your clients, get them engaged and let them get involved emotionally with your work, but don't get rigid with your prices. I mean, make sure you allow some liberty. That is very interesting for me. And I would say that this is a very interesting lecture. On so many parts, I was listening very intensively. No thanks to LIMCAF. I'm not in the art market because LIMCAF doesn't give me chance to create my own artwork. but that's okay. Creating these artists are, I mean, more important than creating my personal artwork. But then I
Yes.
want to also tell. So I learned a lot from Ngozi today on how to progress in that direction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I appreciate this. Thank you. It's an opportunity also to engage. Thank you. Bye.